Hello, I'm Doug Brown. Over the next hour, we'll be highlighting the action, the coaches, and the wrestlers of the last 15 years of Iowa Public Television's coverage of college wrestling. For now, let's take a moment to go back to the 1970s when it all began. Back to a time of great wrestling, leisure suits, and for me, a time when I still had hair.
It's inside crotch ride, and now Waller's got it.
In the early 1970s, sports began to emerge on public television in Iowa. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your announcer, Doug Brown, and with me is Dan Gable, who was the 1972 gold medal winner in the Olympics at Munich, many times national champion in various kinds of tournaments, 2 times as a collegian, and he's now the assistant wrestling coach here at the University of Iowa. And now he's trying to drive the half Nelson. He puts Stamp on his back. And I would suggest that Stamp is in a considerable amount of trouble.
30 seconds left, Doug.
30 seconds. From the beginning, the sport that served as the cornerstone of our commitment to athletics was wrestling. But he has the reverse half and a real serious spin, a pin for Pamela.
Our first endeavor in having television coverage on Iowa Public Network was with Drake University at Tech High School. And the reason we went to Tech High School is the cameras were anchored to the floor. They were so large, I don't think you could probably get them in the back of a pickup truck. So the technology called upon us to go to Tech High School, have our first meet there. We wrestled Illinois, beat them there, beat the University of South Dakota there at Tech High School the second year. And maybe that's what we should do, start wrestling our meets down at Tech High School when we have Iowa down here.
Through the years, Iowa Public Television has brought you many firsts associated with wrestling in Iowa. For we were there in Cedar Falls when Iowa took on Northern Iowa in the first event to be televised out of the Unidome. We also televised the first event from Carver Hawkeye Arena in 1983 when Iowa met Oklahoma. Later that same year, we took you matside with the largest crowd ever to witness a dual meet, as 15,283 fans jammed into Carver Hawkeye Arena to watch the Iowa-Iowa State match. And in 1990, we traveled to Hampton, Virginia for the first television coverage of the National Team Championship, formerly known as the Virginia Duels. Undoubtedly, the ultimate way to score in the sport of wrestling is by the fall. There's just something about that wrestler pinning his opponent's shoulders to the mat that, well, it's quite fulfilling for the wrestler as well as his coach, but the fans, a pin can ignite a crowd and get them into the meet like nothing else can.
He can score the fall right here.
He did! In 6 minutes and 32 seconds, a fall for Mike Bacozzi over Flea Hardy. Now Krieger's in a bear hug. This is where Krieger wants him. That's another Krieger specialty. It's over.
And one of the reasons I like the bear hug is you go from your feet to his back, so it's over. It's an exciting move. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's good for your team. It's good for the crowd. It's good for the sport. So ideally, you know, if I can get a bear hug, I do it. I was only behind a few times, and I hated it. You know, when I stepped on the mat, I wanted to get the match over as fast as I could. You know, I did what I could to get it over, to get a pin, to get a 15-point, and did what I could do to end it because I wanted to be over and I wanted to win. That's all. I just wanted the feeling of winning as fast as I could get it.
A minute left in the second period.
That wasn't a very good shot by Farrell. And Chip really took advantage.
Every pin was memorable, you know, but Mike Farrell, that was the year that we were going for the 10 national titles in a row, which was unprecedented in any NCAA sport.
Oh, yes, this is a bad spot. A bad spot for Farrell. And a big one for Rico. This crowd will go crazy.
It started putting up the sign, you know, 10, 10, and the place was going crazy because Oklahoma State was ranked #1, and everybody in Iowa, we were just going nuts. And that's one of the few times where after the whole match was over, we still had the adrenaline going. It was a real, real good match for us. That's one of the reasons you wrestle, because in a big match where there's titles on the line and you have to pin a guy and you go out and do it, it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had. It probably is the best feeling I've ever had, regardless of anything.
Crowd's giving Lanham the raspberries. Now he puts Lanham on his back.
pin is the ultimate in wrestling. It's the touchdown. It's the TKO of boxing.
A big one! Holy cow!
Just like a TKO, if you're knocking down once, you got to come right at him again and just try to keep him down. And it was just like an ultimate high. You just go crazy. The crowd goes crazy. The pin is everything. Even when you get towards, put somebody on their back or something, the crowd's all, they come up to a crescendo. That was just something about me. I just always wanted to go for the pin, and the pin is what it's all about.
Set each other up. There's a nice body throw. Double underarm hook by Bannock. He's got all.
Pinning was the very best, to pin your man, to get 6 points and to end the match right there. And I guess it was just a natural end result of what it is that we were trying to do. We wanted to pin. And I think it was the Iowa way is that you get very pumped up and very emotional and just pin people off that psych.
Good balance on top. Looks like it's almost there.
I have to say that one of my most memorable pins was that pin I had against Dave Allen in that first Iowa State-Iowa dual meet that I wrestled in. Iowa was down 17-7, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to pin him. I remember Gabe would come back and he said, "Are you ready?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "I'm going to pin him." And then he just kind of, I go, "I'm going to pin him." And Randy Lewis come back and he goes, "All right, I'm going to pin him." But in my mind, in my way of thinking, the way I got myself so mentally psyched up, it was like, well, yeah, it's a natural thing because that's the Iowa way.
Here's a big one. Allen is on his back. Oh, he's in there tough. I'll tell you, Bannock has really got a good hold on him this time. Allen fell into it. Bannock.
He's got him tight. Oh, that's real tight.
This could be a big one, big one, big one.
20 seconds left. He's got him real tight in there.
And it's a pin for Bannock against Allen.
The sport of wrestling takes great physical conditioning and stamina. In order to excel on the mat, most collegiate wrestlers train the year round. They're in terrific condition. Yet, even with all that emphasis on training and safety, wrestling, as you know, is a dangerous sport and people do get hurt. Maybe the injury remembered best happened back on January 9th of 1981 during the match between Iowa State's Jim Gibbons and Iowa's Randy Lewis.
Seconds left in the second period. Lewis leads 4-3.
I still remember that day, and it was a very traumatic injury to me, and I still remember the pain of it, and a lot of people say they saw it. I've only saw it once on TV, and I just kind of watched it right when it happened. I turned away, and I was sweating and almost was ready to throw up, and I've never watched it again.
Now we have less than 30 seconds left in the second period. Well, they go 8 minutes, don't they?
Nice.
High crotch.
Nice.
And he got Gibbons.
Oh, so it looks like maybe someone's hurt.
I was still laying on my side, and I said, "Why didn't that switch work?" And all of a sudden, the pain happened to my elbow. I felt it. It was just tremendous pain.
And here comes the team doctor. Oh.
He's hurt, without question.
Oh, yes, this is... Well, I would say that sometimes you don't hear pleasant things over the referee's mic.
I remember looking over, and I couldn't, my elbow was bent back the other way, and I couldn't see it, and I thought that my arm was completely broke off. And I guess I kind of went into shock there, and I remember yelling for him to give me some drugs and put me out, because I don't like pain very much.
Coach, let's just have two out here, okay?
I didn't want to believe that he was hurt, and I couldn't see what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. Les told me to act calm, right? Because I was really excited, you know. I was up on the defending national champion and our Olympian. And I'm up on him going to the third period. And then all of a sudden my thoughts went to Lewis, because Lewis and I were good friends, all right, as far as competitors would go. I think he liked wrestling me. I liked wrestling him. And I respected the way he went about things.
Right here it is.
In fact, from here I can see the swelling on the arm. It looks like it might even be a break.
There it is.
Right
You see
there.
right here.
Oh,
You see it. There's the arm.
It's one of those freak accidents that cost Lewis dearly the rest of the year. He ended up being an All-American, which is unbelievable that he could come back. But, you know, he was the defending national champion. He was in line to be a champion again. Of course, I think Gibbons ended up being the champion that year, but
you know, and 6 weeks later, he's in the national tournament after a dislocated elbow. That's unreal. But I got a funny story with this Lewis thing. The following year, all right, was my senior year, and then the Iowa State football game, Randy Lewis came over to Ames, and we hung out together the night before the Iowa State football game. And I'm sitting there in a place, and a guy comes up to me, and he goes, "You Jim Gibbons?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "And you know, you're the guy that beat Randy Lewis?" And I go, "Well, yeah, you know."
And I was standing right next to him. He didn't see me there, and he goes, "I just want to say, you know, that was great when you hurt Lewis's elbow. I think he's a real jerk." And Jim was standing right next to me, and he goes, "Well, here's Lewis right here. Why don't you tell him that?" And the guy just felt like this small. He just started laughing at me, and Jim just said, "Hey, get out of here, guy." You know.
A couple of other wrestlers that come to mind when one thinks of injuries are UNI's Mark Schwab, who after an injury in 1988 underwent 9 knee surgeries, yet came back and earned All-American honors, and Tim Asherle, who in 1987 suffered a spinal injury that left him in a wheelchair, yet he remains actively involved in the sport and is currently an assistant coach at Northern Iowa. His comeback has been one of the spirit, and we wish them both the best of luck. Wrestling oftentimes is a family affair, and we've seen many, many sets of brothers come and go over the years. One of the more interesting brothers acts performed at Iowa State. They played the roles of both wrestler and coach, and were known as the Gibbons.
He's counting here because now both of these men have been warned, and he's letting them know they're going to make a move. There's Gibbons with the best.
You know, I started wrestling when I was around 7 or 8 years old, and Jim and Tim had, you know, they're 3 and 4 years older than me, and we had a mat in our basement, you know, and Jim and Tim were pretty much the same size, and so on any given night, either one of them could win. You know, matter of fact, we'd have matches every night, and you know, Tim would be crying because Jim won, and then the next night, Jim would be crying because Tim won, you know. And they'd come down there, instead of wrestling each other because it was so even, they'd grab me, beat the heck out of me. I'd end up crying. Then I you know, thought that was the pecking order, so I'd try to grab Jeff and beat him up. And well, he was kind of the baby of the family, and it ended up coming back on me that those guys would beat me up again for trying to beat up Jeff. So, you know, that really did help me out a lot. You know, it made me tougher in a sense.
And they're out of bounds.
I enjoyed my 4 years under Jim, and I feel like I've accomplished a lot. And we had the coach-athlete relationship, but then we also had the brother-to-brother relationship. So.
And don't take his hips straight on.
But Gibbons made the move.
Great. That's his back on the leg again now. He's got good position. Finds the foot. Hits the dump.
They're going to be brothers a lot longer than they're going to be wrestlers. I'm a brother first. Well, I always tell people this, that it was really easy coaching my brothers because when they got out of the line, I told my mom on them, so.
Other fruit from the Iowa State family tree includes the Carrs, Michael, Solomon, and Nate, Torrey and Kevin Jackson, and the Knights, Steve and Dan. The Northern Iowa Panthers also had their share of brothers, most famous being Mark and Mike Schwab.
They're in the center. There's a try for that little leg drop. In on a high crotch goes Schwab, and he makes the first 2 points.
Well, you know, we were pretty hyper kids growing up, so started scrapping early, and he's actually the one that got me involved in wrestling. And I'm thankful to this day that he did.
With 7 seconds to go, a technical call for Mike Schwab.
Wrestling was one thing that really pulled us together. When he wrestled, I was more nervous than he was, and vice versa. You know, there was never ever competition between us. You know, a lot of brothers are like that, but there was never any competition between us. But I think we both pushed each other really hard. You know, Mark's got a lot of natural talent, but he works hard for what he's got. And with that knee injury and everything else, he's probably, if not one of the most courageous people I've ever met in my life.
Trying to turn the man with his legs, but it's
Like I told him, I'd have given up one of my good knees to see him win a national title and go to the Olympics. But for him to take it the way he did and come back and place a national tournament is, I don't care what anybody says, the greatest comeback in any sporting event I've ever seen.
Some of the other brothers from northern Iowa are the Greenlees, Joel and Justin, and Kurt and Kevin Schiedenhelm, to name just a few. But in the state of Iowa, no Brothers Act has achieved the same level of success in terms of NCAA titles and Olympic gold medals as the tandem of Lou and Ed Bannock, who wrestled at Iowa.
54 seconds left. He's liable to score the fault. He's got it locked up tight now.
55 seconds left. There it is.
I always say that they were the epitome of competition. Referee blew the whistle, they wrestled. They were pinners, and they were the type of people that just dominated their opponents.
The winner by fall, Lou Bannock over Dave Hilly of Oklahoma State.
Well, I think it's pretty special. As I look back through the years, we learned a lot from each other, but at the same time, we're each other's best friend, and that continues to this day. One of the great things I remember about Ed growing up is that he's always been fairly goal-oriented. He would make a statement and you would kind of laugh about it, but he was able to support those words with a lot of victories.
He's got him what you'd call buried at this point, Doug.
Up until when we graduated from college, Louis was always there. Louis and I were always together, ever since I can remember. And that was a bit of a change when Louis wasn't there. There was a longing inside me. I call him and I want to see him, and maybe someday we'll get to the same, maybe not in the same state, but in the same general location where we can visit each other more often. But just knowing that somebody's there that cares about you and is supportive, I think that's the plus.
We can't possibly mention all the brothers to wrestle at Iowa, but a few are Harlan, Marty, and Lindley Kissler, Lenny and Jim Zaleski, and the current brothers sensation of Terry and Tom Brands. We've also seen some outstanding brothers who did their wrestling outside the state of Iowa. Folks like Dave and Mark Schultz, and the Smiths, Leroy, Pat, and four-time world champion John. One person who has a unique perspective on every wrestling match is the referee. Now, he's responsible for things like keeping the match fair and minimizing injuries. But he also has that dubious honor of interpreting the rules on such things as stalling. So it's not unusual to find him involved in a somewhat heated discussion with a coach. Now the official called that one off, and the Iowa coaches are very unhappy.
I'll run you out. Don't get up and yell at me. I had an injury. You've got to stop. I did.
Before that,
no, I blew the whistle. You don't get up and start screaming. You got to tell it.
It's tough to be a referee. You know, referees can't win. You know that. In a wrestling meet, there's always a winner, there's always a loser. And the guy that wins, whether it's the individual or the team, you know, is going to probably feel positive about the referee, and the guy that loses usually is going to feel negative. It's just common.
Is moving, and the other guy, all he can do is follow. Yeah. Maybe call for stalling.
Okay, this is the way I interpret it, Mr. Robertson. The guy was moving, which I agree. Then as the match was progressing, as all he did when the guy was stopping was not making an attempt to break him down. That's what my interpretation was.
I didn't have any problem calling stalling. It was the coach's interpretations of calling stalling. I always felt that the book indicated that you always was supposed to improve your position. Well, as soon as you stop improving your position without jeopardizing your position, then you were stalling.
Now because there's no time. Warning. You see, now he just got warned for stalling.
Basically, wrestlers have to win without stalling. And if they stall and you step in there and call a stalling call at a crucial time in the match, and I've had to do that several times where as a referee, I've had to determine who wins or who ties in the match because of penalty points.
Deduct 1 team point for unsportsmanlike conduct at the end of the match.
Deducted a team point, and that really hurt.
Coach Gibbons came over and asked me what he said, so I repeated it verbatim. Your son said blank blank.
He comes off to me and says, "That's Phil."
I forgot that I was wired. I didn't know it was going to come over the air, and all of a sudden I'm swearing on national public television, and my wrestlers see that, and all around here all the time, I make my athletes or students do push-ups. I said, 10 push-ups to remind you not to swear anymore, that type of thing. And so they made me do the 10 push-ups to remind me too.
We've been so lucky over the years because we've been able to showcase so many wrestling masters, exhibiting a variety of styles. One wrestler who comes instantly to mind when I think of takedowns is former NCAA Olympic and 4-time world champion John Smith.
And Penrith is let out because Smith feels confident on his feet. It's 9-5.
In on that ankle again. There he is. He lifts, looking for control, looking for the back right there.
The only way you can attack at low level is using motion. What I mean is continually moving your feet when you're on your feet. You can't stand flat-footed. You can't go power against power. You've got to be a little more finesse. You've got to be have a little bit of quickness. You've got to be blessed with the ability to attack at a low level, to be able to take your body that low and still stay in a good position.
He leads with the left foot, and Smith has hit it every time.
Every time. And he keeps that ankle. You see, he never loses it.
He's revolutionized wrestling now. He's completely changed a lot of things. He's basically a Muhammad Ali of boxing right now. I don't necessarily say in popularity as compared to style. I mean, he's out there floating, he's moving, and he's stinging, you know, and not too many people can utilize the style that he has and be as effective.
We have Barry Davis of Iowa, who's in there quick on that leg against Randy Willingham, the #1 ranked man. Another wrestler known for his takedown is Barry Davis.
Get a lift on it. Get that leg out from inside, you'd be all right. There we go. You got to lift with it. You got to pick on the ankle. You're bang. There's your two. Nice takedown maneuver by Davis. Real nice.
Right when he steps in, he's getting ready to plant his foot. That's kind of when you really want to shoot the shot. Because a lot of people say, well, it's foot sweep or single leg. It's all I do. But, you know, if they can't stop it, why not keep on doing it?
A wrestler known for the bear hug is Iowa State's Nate Carr.
There's a bear hug. Goes to 2.
Nate is a great wrestler, and he has a lot of technique and a lot of ability, but his main forte, he's fast. He's faster than anything that's walking, I believe.
You know, it's a new NCAA rule this year. We'll get to it here shortly if we don't get too much action. Oh, there's a body throw. Whoa. Whoa.
I didn't think he was going to pull that one off, but he did. And I think
key to my bear hug is definitely trying to get my opponent off balance, to get him to step the wrong way, maybe pull down on his head, and when he comes up with the head, I'll hit him with a duck under.
There's Carr in on a leg.
Got in on the double.
Basically, if they close down the bear hug on me, I would go and hit their legs. So that's why it was good. It opened up a lot of other moves for me.
He likes to put the leg in. He's a bent leg Turk, as it's called. You'll see it if he gets a chance to use it.
One of the most unusual maneuvers we've ever witnessed was by Wisconsin's Dave Lee. It's called the bent leg Turk, and he learned it from Olympic and world champion Dave Schultz.
There's the bent leg Turk.
Bent leg Turk is a technique that you apply by grabbing the man's leg, lower leg, and elevating it in order to elevate his hip. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get his hips to turn so that he'll end up turning to his back. So you have to turn his hips and keep his head.
And there's the pin.
I feel the objective of wrestling is to pin. And whenever I see anyone apply a hold, particularly if I've taught it and had something to do with their understanding that, then you feel some sort of vicarious thrill there. When I see one of my wrestlers, say Dave Lee, do it on someone that's as accomplished and as good a wrestler, say a Chelsea from Iowa, then naturally I'm thrilled, because that type of wrestler, that caliber wrestler, if he can do a hold on them, then I know he's pretty well arrived. He can pretty well do it on anyone. He's mastered the technique.
Well, there he successfully did it. And a fall. Oh, is he tough.
It's still on top, and there are 3 seconds. 2, 1, and there it is, an upset. Keith Moreland, the winner, 3-1, 3-2 with the riding time for Jones. The first loss of the year for Johnny Jones of Iowa State.
Ever since Iowa's Keith Moreland beat Iowa State's top-ranked Johnny Jones, our college wrestling series has thrived on the upset.
That's Louie.
It was 1980 when a young Iowa freshman, Lou Bannock, emerged on the scene of a Hawkeye Cyclone match with Iowa trailing 17-13. Lou's twin brother, Ed, had just pinned Dave Allen, to get the Hawks within striking distance.
And Bannock slipped. Bannock slipped. But he got on his back anyway. And it's the same thing that happened to Allen. And Bannock has him on his back at the edge of the mat. And Forshee has got himself in bad trouble. Bannock putting it on with 40 seconds. And there's a pin.
19-17.
Count.
That probably had to be my greatest match. And through the years, the one that I remembered the most, because it was relatively two new kids on the block, and we were trying to make a name for ourselves and kind of gain some respect, I guess, at the Division I level. You kind of make your own breaks, and that day I had a really big break, and the Twins came through that day, and Gable was sort of pleased about the whole situation.
Without a doubt, the biggest team upset of our 15 years came in 1981, when Iowa and ISU squared off. At 134 pounds, it was Iowa's two-time national champion Randy Lewis against Iowa State's All-American Jim Gibbons.
Now we have less than 30 seconds left in the second period. Well, they go 8 minutes, don't they?
Nice.
High cross.
Nice.
And he got Gibbons on.
Oh, so it looks like maybe someone's hurt.
And the crowd is on its feet for Randy Lewis. I'm sure he's in no position to appreciate it at the moment. Oh, boy. That is really sad. Gibbons was ahead 5-4. There he is. He's the winner, and it's 6 points. It was a good default. Look at that crowd.
The injury disqualification put Iowa State ahead by 5 points as it came down to heavyweight. Iowa's Lou Bannock had to pin State's Dave Ozenbaugh for the Hawkeyes to win the meet.
I was basically scared to death when I went on the mat against Lou. And I remember Coach Nichols telling me that go out and do your best, try to keep it under 12, and whatever you do, just don't give up. All I didn't want to do is get pinned and just keep off my back or my feelings. And I felt after about 5 minutes of the match that I could last out the match without getting pinned. I built confidence up by then to realize that Lou may destroy me, but I didn't feel like he could pin me by that time. And as time went on, we both know what happened.
He locked that, the far side cradle again. Now Ozenbaugh has Bannock in trouble. Bannock is in trouble. And I believe that he might have done better if he'd gone the other way.
Boy, he got him turned. He's got a roll on him. He got the two, and he's getting 4 points.
Now
listen to this crowd noise.
If this happened, it could be Iowa State's meet.
He could score the fall here without question. It looks like it's pretty close. Now he's in a pretty good spot. And there's a lot of weight bearing down there on Lou Bannock.
Watch that referee's hand. Watch that. He did it! And it's Iowa State.
It's all over.
Look at that crowd. Holy mackerel! Holy cow! It's an upset. Iowa State wins on a last-minute fall by Dave Ozenbaugh.
Over the years, our college wrestling series has had some terrific individual matches. One of the most dramatic came in 1981 when an Iowa freshman named Jim Zaleski took on Oklahoma State's defending national champion, Ricky Stewart.
15 seconds left.
Stewart's got him tied in there, and he'd rather stay right there and not give Zaleski. Oh, a beautiful throw. Off a good body for 2, and he's going to get 4 points.
And he's going to win
this match. It's all over. 3-point or 5-point move.
15-12.
He didn't quit. That's the secret. He kept the offense going that whole last period. Beautiful move.
That's kind of just pushing him, not really looking for a throw or anything, just looking for a takedown because I was behind by 2 points. So all I needed was a takedown. So as I was pushing in, he kind of right there, he just pushed back, and I go out and got nothing to lose. So, bam, I just hit it, and he went with it. He was pushing in right at the right time, so it worked perfect, just like I planned it.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to tonight's...
The meet, which took nearly everyone by surprise, was in 1984 when Iowa State took on Northern Iowa in the Unidome, and the Panthers played Russian roulette with their lineup, switching their 142 and 150-pounders around and moving their 158 and 167-pounders up a weight.
I have to give a lot of that credit to assistant coach Jim Miller. We were talking about it, and Jim mentioned that we ought to either move Lou Sungrowth or one of the other guys up and do a couple shifts in the lineup. And the more we sat down and looked at it on paper, the more it made sense. And what was interesting for us is we came out with that lineup and looked across the mat, and Iowa State was laughing at us. It was like, what the heck are they doing? And by the time 58-67 rolled around, they weren't laughing anymore, and they knew that they were in trouble.
The results were incredible. All 5 UNI wrestlers involved in the switch won. Scott Morningstar defeated Wayne Sharp. Lou Sungrowth beat Jim Farina. Dave Grant knocked off Bill Tate. Jay Llewellyn beat Bob Gassman. And Dion Cobb defeated Steve Metzger. It was 17-17 when John Krebs and Darrell Peterson met at heavyweight. But John Krebs dominated, and Northern Iowa had its first win over Iowa State since 1952.
2-1. The winner.
Family really means a lot to myself. I try to emphasize that to the wrestlers. I think one of the things that really stands out in my mind was when we did beat Iowa State. One of the first people that came out and congratulated myself was my wife, and that was important for me. And then right behind her was my brother, and to be able, when we saw that later on, that just sent chills up and down my spine.
Whoa! Randall gets the first takedown.
In 1985, Oklahoma State invaded Carver Hawkeye Arena and found the going tough. The unexpected happened when Iowa's number 3 ranked Greg Randall took on Oklahoma State's top-ranked John Smith.
And he's been very tough on Smith on the edge of the mat.
Uh-oh, Smith
hurt his shoulder.
The first thing that went through my mind was I just was praying to God at that time that I could wrestle in the Big 8 Nationals, because that was really my first serious injury that I've ever had.
He might have popped it out. It just came down right on the point of that shoulder.
In fact, I saw read his lips. He said it popped. Something popped.
I didn't hold any grudge against him. Greg was just intense. He was out to beat me, and he was going to do what he had to do. I don't think it was intentional. I think just the intensity of the match caused the injury.
It's really troubling him, too, because he's a wonderful wrestler, and he doesn't want to quit. Now, see how heartbroken he is. He knows there's something seriously wrong with his shoulder. He can't.
He got separated. It's a real tough time of the year for that, too, Doug.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
It was a shoulder injury that later affected Smith's national placing.
Very tough spot right here.
Now it's it. There it is.
During the evening, the Hawks thoroughly routed the Cowboys. The 40-6 win was Iowa's largest margin of victory in the heated rivalry and Oklahoma State's worst loss ever.
Important starting matches.
In 1986, it was the Cyclones' turn to strike, and this time the Hawkeyes were on the short end. Perry Summit got the Clones off to a fast start at 118. At 150, Iowa State freshman Tim Krieger beat Iowa All-American and top-ranked Jim Heffernan. Then at 158, ISU's Bill Tate upset Iowa's Royce Alger by a major decision. As is often the case, the team score was tied when the Cyclones' John Heropoulos and the Hawks' Mark Sindlinger met at heavyweight.
It's beginning to look like Iowa State is going to upset Iowa. You bet. At Hilton Coliseum. And it's counting down. And it's Iowa State, the winner. They got the Iowa State coach Jim Gibbons up on and all the Iowa State coaches are getting a ride.
Everybody was really excited. And the thing I remember most about it
And the thing I'll never forget is President Parks, who came to a lot of our meets. He came down on the mat right after we had won. President Parks came down and walked down to the mat and shook our hands and shook our teammates, our team's hands, and I thought that was really a special moment.
The final chapter to date in the Iowa-Iowa State rivalry was written in 1988, with ISU leading 15-10 heading into 190 pounds.
The team situation was all I needed was a 3-point decision, 3 points for the team, and we'd win the meet.
Didn't really expect a lot out of myself other than all I could do was just wrestle the best that I could.
The Hawkeyes' 43-match Carver Hawkeye undefeated record was at risk when Iowa's Brooke Simpson took on Iowa State's defending national champion Eric Volker.
Simpson trying to come up, but Volker had him caught on his back for a 2-point near fall.
2 near fall. He put himself there and was held.
Simpson threw the move. Uh-oh! Volker's in trouble! Volker's in serious trouble here. Volker's in serious trouble. Holy cow! With a lot of time left, a lot of time left. A lot of time. This is a serious problem for Iowa State. He pinned him.
If the fans wouldn't have reacted the way they did, I probably just would have walked off the mat, you know, with a silly grin on my face, but things just took over and emotions took over and I acted like a fool running around the mat, but we do those things sometimes when we win big.
Volker was leading 6-1 when he got caught on his back.
It was deja vu when Iowa's Mark Sindlinger met Iowa State's Andy Cope.
Has Cope in serious trouble again. And it's going to end right here. It'll end right here. And they win. That has to rank as one of the great comebacks of Dan Gable's team.
I've had people tell me that was at that particular match and meet. That's one of the all-time highs in Carver Hawkeye Arena. I have to admit, I think I gave up as a coach. But all of a sudden, we pinned their national champion. The 15,000 people went crazy. And then we got another fall, I believe, right after that, and we saved the victory. And it was almost like this place had some kind of spirit in it.
15 years of television college wrestling has really flown by, and it seems like we've seen just about everything. Want a bird's eye view of the mat? In 1982, Marlon the Human Fly Schramm ran our overhead scoreboard camera. We saw the Hawkeyes' Scott Trezino try a new technique during the '83 season. We've seen Nick and Nate, and Nick and Nate Jr. There was Miss Piggy and the Blues Brothers, both of whom turned out to be Royce Alger's roommates. There have been some family squabbles, too. In 1988, Dan Knight took on Mark Schwab, then Steve Knight battled Mike Schwab. And no, we weren't seeing double, just Wayne Sharp doing double duty in 1984 for Iowa State and in 1987 for Arizona State. Not to be outdone, in 1986 it was Oklahoma's Joe Melchiori. In 1988 it was Iowa's Joe Melchiori. We've seen Cal Bakersfield's Joe C. and Oklahoma State's Joe C. We've seen Andy, Tommy, Dale, and Stan, Wally, Rich, Bobby, and Dan. We've seen upsets, parties, losses, and wins, takedowns, reversals, escapes, and spins. We've shown you the big meets no matter who won, and we hope our next 15 years will be as much fun. There have been many great individual matchups over the years. In the 70s, it was names like Bruce Kinseth versus Joe Zussman, Dave Powell versus Mike Deanna, or Bud Palmer versus Frank Santana. In the 80s, at 126 pounds, there was Iowa's three-time NCAA champion and four-time All-American Barry Davis, and Iowa State's four-time All-American and NCAA champion Kevin Dark.
Warding that off with that overhook, block it off, get the leg inside, good balance. Darkus is trying to control that leg, take it to the outside where he can maybe get a lift with it. Maybe also a trip, but Darkus keeps it inside. For
half a minute left.
Leg inside. Looks like we're going to maybe go off the edge.
And I believe that Davis has saved himself beautifully on the edge of the mat with 15 seconds to go.
Great job of counter wrestling. Good job,
I think wrestling-wise, Darkus had far more ability than Davis. And if you put that in the air, Davis will probably call me up and tell me that he didn't either. But my feeling is that Darkus had the ability and the and everything except the complete drive, pound. And that's how Davis consistently beat him.
He had been warned previously. It's a penalty point. He was backing out of there. Now Davis comes right back in, picks up the single, hit the flip, puts him to the mat for two. Intentional release for a one-point escape.
A third period flurry by Davis. He's really come on strong at the end of this match. There are only 10 seconds left, and it looks like Darkus is going to have to wait till next time.
It sure appears that way. This will be 5 in a row for Davis.
Whenever we had wrestling matches, we went all the way back to high school and we wrestled, matches back then. And we always had just hard-fought, just put your guts on the line type matches. And
after a while, you wrestled so many times that he knew I was going to attack him, and I knew how he was going to attack me. So the idea was just to try to keep him off balance that much more, I guess. In fact, he was one of the guys, I think, that really kept me on my toes all the way through college. And it's good to have people like that.
There's a case of staying with a move, fighting through it.
Very patient on that single leg takedown, and it's Davis again up by 2, 4-2 with just seconds left in the second period.
Davis has built up a minute and 42 seconds.
Oh! Time. Davis had Darkus on his back for a reversal. He's getting back points,
with it.
And he's got him in a tough spot right at the end of the period.
And 2 more. That was a 5-point series.
Another matchup was between Oklahoma State's Olympic gold medalist Kenny Mundy and Iowa State's three-time NCAA champion Nate Carr.
Complete some
Whoa,
moves
that
here.
double, beautiful
leg.
double by Mundy, and he's up 4-1.
Now it's an escape.
And every time we come up against each other, it was a great match. We had pretty much contrasting styles, and I'm more long and have more leverage, and Nate's really short and compact, and we're both pretty quick. So it was just a strong match, just a hard-fought match, and I tended to win the dual meet and the Big 8 tournament, and both years that we wrestled, I won the Big 8 tournament in the finals against Nate, and he turned around and won the NCAA finals against me.
Nate Carr thus far.
Nice pick, but a good whizzer.
Good whizzer maneuver, faced off real well by Nate Carr, so no points.
I think that'd be a tough spot.
There he dropped in on that double, and he's got the 2-point takedown.
Nicely done by Mundy.
I lost to Kenny in the Big 8s, and then we wrestled in the NCAA championships, and I beat him there. I think the biggest difference was that I thought that I should have won in the Big 8s, so I was really confident in going to the national championship, that I would win, because I would work on the mistakes that I made in the Big 8s and just capitalize on winning the championships. In college, me and Kenny really went at each other's throat. We really loved competition. And now that we're out of college and we're wrestling in freestyle, we're great friends. We were at the same weight. I dropped down to 149. He stayed at 63. We both made the 88 Olympic team. I ended up with the bronze medal. He took the gold. And we're just great friends now. I go down to Oklahoma. I train with him. I call him on the phone all the time. And we're just great friends.
At 190, it's hard to forget the matches between Iowa's Olympic gold medalist Ed Bannock and Iowa State's three-time All-American Mike Mann. Wants to take away those single legs, those scrambling moves from the outside. He's in on the leg himself. And man, working across the body, cannot stop the move. It's 2 for Bannon.
Oh, there's a reversal. Oh, he's got him in trouble. Reversal, the roll. We got back points with it, I'm sure.
2 points, near fall,
Well, I'll tell you what, these two guys.
Oh, that heck was quick.
He was so aggressive, and I was aggressive too, but not as aggressive as he was. And so then he'd get a little wild or something, and that would make a perfect opportunity for me to make a move.
He probably is the most athletically talented wrestler that I've wrestled in college. I was just amazed by his athletic ability and his flexibility. He's the only wrestler in college to beat me 3 times. I think what really helped him against me was just his style, just the way he wrestles. He's very flexible, limber, and he attacked at times, but mostly he was a wait and see. He was a counter reactor. When you attacked him, he counter attacked you.
A lot of power on top. He's tough. He's physical. Mike's tough and physical likewise. It's just going to make for a super match before this is all over.
Here is Mann on the leg. Still not 2.
Oh boy, there it is. He's got it now.
Names at second duel, everybody knew we'd wrestled, and I'd won the first match, so everybody was kind of pumped up. That match was 13-8, and both of us were just non-stop the whole time, going at each other until the buzzer rang and the match was over.
He was a very talented wrestler. I was very fortunate. I was very happy as well that he did not go on and wrestle, try to wrestle internationally, make the Olympic team, because he would have been a very tough opponent, especially in freestyle.
Matchups of the future? How about this one? Oklahoma State's Pat Smith and Iowa State's Steve Hamilton. You'll just have to watch this season to see what develops. Ever wonder what happened to the countless numbers of athletes and coaches and, well, announcers who've been part of our college wrestling series? Well, my first partner, Dave Hardy, is the Assistant Executive Secretary of the Iowa High School Athletic Association in Boone. Our next wrestling expert, Chuck Patton, is Assistant to the Superintendent of Schools up in Everett, Washington, near Seattle. In the coaching ranks, we've seen Don Briggs take over for Chuck Patton at UNI, and Jim Gibbons replaced the legend, Harold Nichols, when he retired at Iowa State. Jay Robinson is now the head coach at Minnesota. Tim Siezeski is the main man at Northwestern. And Mark Johnson, this year, became the head coach at Oregon State. Now, let's meet some familiar faces for an update on what some past wrestlers are up to.
It was 1979 when I finished my high school wrestling career undefeated with 4 state titles. I went on to the University of Iowa to become a 3-time All-American. I'm Jeff Kerber. Today I'm back in Emmitsburg where I'm involved with our family-run feed milling business. My wife, Robin, is a sister to Randy Lewis, and we have 2 little Kerbers. Here's what's going on with some other Hawkeyes. Kevin Dresser is a high school wrestling coach in Van Sant, Virginia. Mark Trezino is a pharmaceutical salesman in Davenport, Iowa. Bud Palmer is a minister in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's called the Last Great Race. It's the Iditarod, an 1,100-mile race across Alaska. Hi, I'm Dave Allen. I wrestled for the Iowa State Cyclones. In '79 and '80, I was an All-American for them. For the past 9 years, my wife Jolene and I have taught in 3 different Eskimo villages in northwestern Alaska. In those 9 years, I've coached wrestling, I've commercially fished, and I've been an assistant grizzly guide, and I've run dogs. This year, I faced the biggest challenge in my life so far, the Iditarod. Wish me luck. Let's see what the other Cyclones are up to. Mike Land is a private wrestling instructor in Des Moines, Iowa. Kelly Ward is a special agent for the United States Secret Service and lives in Des Moines. Dave Brown is a farmer and a mailman near Mason City. Perry Hummel is a sales manager for his family-owned automobile dealership in Des Moines, Iowa.
With that pin, I became a weekly regular on college wrestling's opening title. My ego loved it. My name is Dion Cobb. I was a two-time All-American at the University of Northern Iowa in 1980-1981. Today, I'm a general manager for a locally owned restaurant chain in Des Moines, Iowa, as well as assisting Drake University in wrestling. And here's what some of the other UNI wrestlers are doing today. Dave Grant is an assistant wrestling coach at the University of Minnesota. Kirk Myers is in retail sales for a video supply store in Tempe, Arizona. John Creeds is the head wrestling coach at Southwest Missouri State in Springfield, Missouri. And King Gallagher is a construction supervisor in Waterloo, Iowa.
In 1987, I was a national qualifier for Drake University. And in 1982, I was a high school state champ at Fort Dodge High. I'm Ted Kamamo. I'm the owner and operator of a restaurant in Sioux City and Fort Dodge. Let's take a look at a few other Bulldogs. Pat Meyer is a cost center manager with a window manufacturer in Pella, Iowa. Scott DeVinny is a pharmacist in Chicago, Illinois. Earl Snyder is in law enforcement in Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, and has become an accomplished bodybuilder.
It was 15 years ago when I won the 142-pound national championship for the University of Iowa. Hi, my name's Brad Smith. I'm the coach at Lisbon High School, where we've had 7 Class A state championships. We've won the last 3 in a row, and we're going for number 4 this season. We feel we have the team to do it, and we'll be the team to beat. Let's check out some other Hawkeyes. Chris Campbell is an attorney in Syracuse, New York, and at the age of 36 has staged a wrestling comeback, earning the top spot on Team USA at his weight. Chuck Yagla is an assistant vice president for a bank in Waterloo, Iowa. And Lenny Zaleski is a high school wrestling coach and business teacher in Palmer, Alaska.
I was a 3-time All-American and 2-time national champion when I wrestled for Iowa State in the late 80s. Hi, I'm Eric Volker with the Des Moines Fire Department. I work a 24-hour shift as a firefighter and EMT, answering calls up to 20 a day on both the pumper and rescue squads. Now here's what's happening with some of the other Iowa State wrestlers. Dave Powell is a real estate investment administrator for a life insurance company in Des Moines. John Forshey is the manager of a petting zoo for a national pizza chain located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Frank Santana is a retired stockbroker who lives in St. Charles, Illinois.
We hope you enjoyed the first hour of our college wrestling 15th anniversary special, and we have another hour coming up.
And in the next hour, you'll get a chance to see some of those classic matches and others in extended time length.
Yes, as they unfolded and as we originally called them here on Iowa Public Television. And we continue with college wrestling's 15th anniversary. Let's start in 1981 with Iowa freshman Jim Zaleski and Oklahoma State's defending national champion Ricky Stewart. We join the match near the end of the second period. This is Ricky Stewart of Oklahoma State, 158 pounds. The Hawks lead by 5 in the team score. But Jim Zaleski got a big win against Iowa State the other night, 11-2 as you saw there.
There's your stand-up escape. Well, Jim's wrestling Stewart a game match, and you just have to admit the fact that Stewart is an outstanding wrestler. Having been, national champion, you're sure not toying with a so-so athlete. And I think at this point, Jim would, I'm sure, want to continue to wrestle to stave off a major spree. There, he caught him on a beautiful body throw for the 2 and almost 4 points, or did he get him? He got him.
Take down, 2-point, near ball, Zaleski.
Well, I was going to say that I was about to say, no matter who you are, the match is never over.
Well,
but I won't say that I was going to say that.
Here comes your move here right now. Notice he got that underhook there. He goes in for the single. Stewart did. You'll watch right here. There it is. He pressures in on him, traps that near arm, grabs the far leg, pressures in on him with nothing more than the old barrel chest, so to speak, and pressures him right to the mat for a 2-2, 4-point move.
At the end of the second period, Ricky Stewart is talking. Well, I think he's had a taped thumb, has fingers taped, and Bob Siddons is wrapping it up there. You can't really see it.
Okay. Stewart, 98th NCAA individual champion for OSU. That's quite a number of championships.
Can you name about 40 of them?
I can name quite a few of them.
It's now 9-8 in favor of Stewart.
Hindsight's always better than foresight, but I was about to say a while ago that Jim's best defense will be his offense, because he's scoring points now, and he's giving him quite a match. So best thing he could be doing is carrying the offense right to him, and that's what he's been doing the last minute and a half.
And again, Stewart is in on the leg. The very same move that Zaleski countered so well last time.
Jim's got that near ankle pick. Go to a stalemate situation.
Stalemate.
Jim's got the idea, that is to carry the offense to him. That kind of a little snap down counter move there. He's reaching around behind. He's got pressure on him. He may turn this into 2 if he can get around there and trap that near leg. Working a little bit of a crossface there with it now too. He's got that far ankle. As long as he can keep that far ankle, he'll stave off anything that Stewart's trying to put together. Might get a stalemate here.
Let's go again. Let's go. Yep. Stalemate. You know, Stewart has been in on that leg 3 times in a row, and Zaleski has gotten more out of it than Stewart.
That's right. Wood has done a nice job of countering. He sprawls nicely, gives the pressure, takes the base out from underneath Stewart likewise.
It's 9-8.
No points yet. There it is. Takes him to the mat for 2. Jim kind of got caught on that. Although I must admit that Stewart moved underneath there real tough. There it is, kind of a duck under, but you notice Jim kind of slipped off that headlock attempt. Stewart comes around behind, takes him to the mat for 2.
The 11-8, Dan Gable.
Wisconsin 46.
Is hoping for...
There's a switch maneuver into a stand-up. Notice Stewart's still locked in on him. It's the responsibility of the top man in a position like that to take the bottom man defensive wrestler to the mat.
We have a minute and a half. Dan Gable and Jay Robinson and Chucky Iglo all in that picture. You're looking at Jim Zaleski of Iowa.
A lot of time left in the third period. There's your switch to a sit-out, stand-up. 3 moves there, kind of a switch, sit-out, stand-up maneuver. That was a good call.
That's a warning for stalling to Stewart. A warning.
It's the responsibility of that top man when they come into the standing position like that to put him back to the mat. All he was doing was staying in behind with no attempt to put him down.
Take him down.
Stand up, split the hands, turn in by Zaleski. He might turn it into 1. No. He got the overhook, the whizzer, and he may turn this into 2. Almost got it turned into the point where he could catch Stewart on his back. He's got the 1-point escape. He can get 2 out of it now. He can tie it up.
The 11-9, and Bob Sittons brings them back to the middle. Now, we should say, too, that Stewart has a riding time point set up here. He's going to get a point for riding time, so it's, for all practical purposes, 12-9.
There's a single shot off of a little duck under arm shuck maneuver by Stewart. Jim's carrying it to him. He's keeping the pressure of the offense. Stewart's going to maybe get nailed for stalling here pretty quick. He's not putting a lot of offense here together.
The 11-9 with 30 seconds left.
There it is. That was the right call.
1 point for Zaleski.
Now he's got to pour on the offense. Go after it. It's just what he's doing. He's giving it all every shot he's got.
15 seconds left.
Stewart's got him tied in there, and he'd rather stay right there and not give Zaleski. Oh, a beautiful throw. Off a good body blow through, and he's going to get 4 points.
And he's going to win
this match. It's all over. 3-point or 5-point move.
15-12.
He didn't quit. That's the secret. He kept the offense going that whole last period. Beautiful move. Nice lateral drop by.
Look at Dan Gable back there. He's really happy about that one.
He just defeated last year's national champion. What a beautiful bout. That was a great bout. And there's another secret for the inexperienced wrestler. He never quit. He kept wrestling. Here it comes right here. What is the body throw? Beautiful lateral drop. Puts him on his back for a 5-point move.
And look at the time.
He had 4 to 5 seconds left, and there it is. He's got a 2 and a 3-point move. 2 points for the takedown, 3 points for the near fall. He wins it 15-11. Beat the defending 158-pound champion.
Back in 1982, before they became Olympic teammates, Iowa State's Nate Carr and Oklahoma State's Kenny Monday were in a constant battle to be number 1 in their weight class.
Half a minute to go in the second period, and Monday leads by 1.
Keep in mind now there's been one warning for stalling called, and that's been against Iowa State's Nate Carr thus far.
Nice pick, but a good whizzer.
Good whizzer maneuver, faced off real well by Nate Carr, so no points.
I think that'd be a tough spot.
There he dropped in on that double, and he's got the 2-point takedown.
Center. Nicely done by Monday. Tell you, Nate, it's tough to get in and lock up with Kenny Monday because Monday's so tall.
He sure is. He keeps those hips back too, but let me tell you, Monday's, we're going to hear a lot of him in the future.
They've expected a great deal out of this young man. He went through a learning year, his first year. Pretty good learning year. He only lost 7 times in 35 matches.
Bottom man. Caution, bottom man. Get set now.
Caution on Carr. Caution is simply a quick start prior to the referee giving him the start on the whistle. Next time it would be a penalty point.
8 seconds to go, second period. There's going to be a couple of tough people up at 50 this year. Andre Metzger is going to be back again. Oh, he'll be down at 42 for Zell.
There was a 2-point near fall. And an escape, so we have an 8-4 match.
1-point escape. Third period.
There it is again. Let's see that move off the whistle.
There's Nate's stand-up, but you notice he powers in on him, catches him on his back, and that overhook, sticks a half Nelson, gets his 2 points near fall, and just before the buzzer, we get a 1-point escape by Carr.
He's trailing 8-4 with no riding time.
Nothing. Escape, both up.
And it's now 9-4.
Center, man. Center.
And Carr is going to have to
score some big
pour
points
on the coals here.
Yes, he's going to have to score some big points. Takedown, release, takedown, or take down some back points.
But he hasn't been able to take Monday down at all yet. 3 takedowns for Monday.
There he's in there with the lock. Lost
it. Went the other way. I'll tell you what, Kenny Monday looks a lot stronger to me at 150 than he did at 142.
He sure does. He looks strong tonight.
And Nate Carr, back after 2 meets out, is getting pushed around a little bit here by Kenny Monday of Oklahoma State.
Les Monday has great position, penetrates well, good execution.
And he looks like a big
Watch that knee, watch that knee.
He does. He's got range. There's your sit out. Face in, 1-point escape.
It's called even because the takedown occurred out of bounds. The reversal, rather. 11-5.
11-5.
And all points on escapes for Nate Carr.
Got the takedown. 11-7.
It's the first one, and the escape makes it 12-7.
He's got to pour in the coals in the final minute of the third period. And he's capable of doing it, as we all know. He didn't win a national championship sitting around. Out of bounds, should be no points there. Sporting parts out.
The knees are off, both up. Watch it now. In the middle, man.
43 seconds to go. That's Kenny Monday. Tulsa, Washington High School. Coach in high school was a man named Jim Shields.
Carr's got the whizzer, but the step over on that ankle by Monday, no points. Carr faces off. 31 seconds left in the final period. There you see it, 28-27.
Monday by 5. Monday by 5, 12-7.
Nate would have to catch him in a 5-point move right now to tie it up. There's no riding time.
He got a bear hug. But that got only 2 back.
Keep wrestling, you got, come on. Escape, both up. Center.
13-9. And that's it. Well, I don't know. It happened while they were 2 seconds, I think.
Well, it looked like maybe 3 or 4, but I didn't catch it real close. I thought about 3, but I wasn't giving a good look at the clocks.
The escape was at 4 seconds.
Time went out, and it's 2 seconds left.
There should be about 2 seconds left.
All right, 2 seconds we put on the clock.
At this point, not an awful lot's going to be done with 2 seconds left. There's a shot by Carr, and he made it work for 2.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a 13-11.
Center, man. Center. You got 2? You got the takedown, yes. You were down before the whistle blew. You still win.
13-11, it's Kenny Monday, the winner over the national champion from Iowa State, Nate Carr, 13-11.
In 1983, we had a terrific match between Iowa's eventual 3-time All-American and NCAA champion Rico Chiapparelli and Oklahoma's eventual 2-time NCAA champion Melvin Douglas.
Chiapparelli 11-5, Douglas 14-4. Chiapparelli, like Heffernan, is right out of high school.
Yes, a 3-time high school champ from Baltimore, Maryland. Oh, look at there. There's a left, kind of a fireman's carry left. Took Chiapparelli to the mat for the 2-point takedown. Chiapparelli rolls across for the 1-point escape.
And Douglas was a 3-time state champion, too, and they were both junior U.S. Wrestling Federation champions, national champions. 2-1 now is the score.
167-pound weight class.
Well, Melvin Douglas was behind Dave Schultz last year, so that's one of the reasons that you didn't see him as a freshman.
Headlock attempt by Chiapparelli, but it failed. He slipped off, and Douglas countered by staying back, exerting some pressure, and scores the takedown.
And it's now 4-1. Well, in the first minute, we've had quite a bit of scoring. Chiapparelli now needs to get out, try something else.
Douglas will have his choice at the end of this going into the second period. We've got a minute 55 of this first one left.
Get up, get up, get up, get up.
Tried to switch, and Douglas wouldn't let him. Out of bounds.
He's trying that stand-up escape with a whip over so he can get turned in real quick on Douglas and score the 1, maybe more, but thus far Douglas has been able to stave him off. Douglas is well put together, Doug. He's pretty well endowed with strength.
Said he was a 3-time state champion. That was in Kansas. He's from Highland Park High School, Topeka.
Notice how he snapped Chiapparelli back. He got that arm barred. Now he's going around. He takes that near arm into a hammerlock, which is at a 90-degree angle to the back, to the long axis of the body of Chiapparelli. Chiapparelli regains his base. Tries to control the wrist, come out for 1, but he's going to get 1 or 2 out of it.
Nice move.
Nice move. And 2.
He could have settled for 1 there, but he turned right in and got a reversal out of it.
Stayed right with it.
And it's now 4-3 Douglas.
He put a lot of pressure there on the leg of Douglas and turned that into a 2-point takedown.
Take a look at it again.
Notice how he controls that wrist. He turns in to get what would be normally 1, but the referee affords him the opportunity to get the 2, and he staves off that whizzer and puts Douglas to the mat for 2, and off the edge they went, and back to the middle. Douglas stays down.
Took him a little extra time there. You see that Douglas has a tape around his left leg, and it hurt him a little bit. Well, the official attendance tonight has just been given us 8,031. That's a pretty nice informal showing. 8,031 people just walked in the door. And I think they're enjoying themselves.
Douglas had a quick escape on the stand-up.
Makes it 5-3 his favor.
He hustled on that whistle.
And we still have a minute left in the first period.
Boy, this Chiapparelli, he battled. He stayed in there. A lot of boys would have forfeited that move. Douglas.
And again, Douglas is complaining of an injury. Here's the replay.
There it is. Douglas came in with what looked to be like a somewhat routine takedown, but Chaparelli says no way.
Mike Allen is talking to Dan Gable now about the situation here as Melvin Douglas walks around flexing that knee. He's injured a couple of times.
It's a girl for the 3rd time.
Here it is. Here's our move here. But looked like it would be an easy takedown when he got the lift. But look at Chaparelli stave off with that head chancery and underneath that underbar arm series. No points were gained. Beautiful counter move by Chaparelli.
Just made an announcement here, but Phil Hattie in the public address that Dan Gable is the father for the 3rd time today. 3rd girl. Chaparelli.
Well, there's an exchange of moves out there. A lot of activity. Some good offensive wrestling, some good defensive wrestling on the part of both wrestlers.
I like what I see of Chaparelli's spunk. He's got a lot of fight in there.
You bet he does. He's got reach too.
He's rangy.
He's rangy. He's got that reach. He can go down for that snatch single pretty easily.
But Douglas still leads by 2 with just a few seconds left in the first period.
The choice in the second period will go to Douglas.
Up. He takes up. See what happens here. There's Stan Abel.
5-3, Douglas out in front.
Don't know what he's saying, but his referee, his wrestler can't see him. He must have been talking to Mike Allen.
He's trying to suck him back off the arm. That arm's going a little bit high. Chaparelli spins out of it, gets his 1-point escape.
Makes it 5-4, Douglas. Now Douglas has scored the only 2 takedowns. Chaparelli got his 2 on a reverse and 2 escapes. And there's a warning against Douglas.
Now we have injury time. Warning for stalling, followed up with injury time. Going to Douglas.
I tell you what, I think if my little prediction is that if Chaparelli keeps the pressure on, he's going to win this match.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. He's a game wrestler. He comes back for more.
It's 5-4.
There you see that Douglas has got him in some temporary problems, but notice how he maintains his base. Now he comes to the reverse side, spins out, rotates the hips over, gets his 1-point escape. Nice counter wrestling.
Douglas had to put him on his back or lose him.
That's right.
And he lost it.
What I like about Chaparelli is what we've said a couple times. He's kind of an intense wrestler. That's Dan Gable's type of wrestler. He keeps the intensity going. And
he went to Blair Academy in Baltimore, Maryland, and lost. You know what? He won 119 matches and lost only 4 in high school. And of those 119, 94 of them were pins.
That's a lot of pinning.
Douglas leads by 1.
We've got a lot of match left yet. There comes a headlock. Oh, but it reversed itself and went the other direction. Kind of a bear hug by Douglas for the 2 points. He just buried him to the mat. A lot of pressure. But again, he caught Chaparelli off his base because he had been attempting that headlock and was a little bit off base. But it was a good move by Douglas.
7-4. Well, Chaparelli has, as I say, lost now 3 takedowns. He's been less successful on his feet.
There's your headlock attempt by Chaparelli, and then notice he was off his base because he had already been driving over it, and Douglas came back the other way with kind of a barrel hug or a bear hug and took him to the mat. Nice a little old switch combination for a reversal. He's got him almost locked into a cradle maneuver. Nice move. This is a good match, Bob.
Yes, it is. He wanted to get a cross-face cradle on Douglas, and Douglas says, "That's my sore knee." And so we stop again. He must be running out of injury time here.
Well, he's evidently having some problem with that knee. I'm not certain just exactly. There comes your move. Look at that roll. He traps that near arm. Look at that leg. Look at that elevator series with the leg. Beautifully done. Comes around the backside. There it is. 2 points. He finishes his move up. And notice how quickly he puts him to the mat. And if we can follow the whole move, we'll see a pinning combination, but we didn't get it all. I originally said a switching combination, but it was really a roll, trapping that near arm.
Yeah.
Did a nice
Melvin
job.
Douglas, Topeka, Kansas. Caution on the bottom. That's against Douglas.
Douglas moving before the whistle.
Douglas leads 7-6. 50 seconds left in the second period.
Yeah, a lot of match left here.
A lot of time. And I think Chiapparelli is going to get tougher as this match wears on. Well, there's a quick stand-up escape.
Oh, did he counter? Beautiful. And he has
there it is. He's going to pin it.
He did.
Boy, that guy can run.
He can. 4 minutes and 19 seconds in. I hope we get a chance to see that one again because he countered out of a really tough situation.
Super move. Good offensive maneuver. Here we come right now. All right, here comes Douglas. He stands up, gets what would be an escape, but he's good. There.
A good
He
move
comes in
by
for
Douglas.
a double right there. Now watch this maneuver here. Watch Chiapparelli. Comes down off of a roll. It looks like he was in trouble on
He
his
just
back.
rolled through.
Steps across. Look at the half. Deep, buried, elbow behind the head. Now he cradles him up with the far leg, and it's all
Holy
over.
cow. Isn't that something?
Beautiful job. Good base, good balance. Look at how he's bearing in on him beautifully. Well done.
One of the great classic rivalries in 1983 was between Iowa's Ed Bannock, the 1984 Olympic gold medalist, and Iowa State's Mike Mann, who finished his career as a three-time All-American.
Well, there's some two super wrestlers out there right now.
Mann is as good as anybody who's never won a national championship.
He's been runner-up last year at this weight class, and of course Bannock was runner-up at the 177-pound weight class.
Ed Bannock, who's had a fabulous career for the Hawks. They wrestled at the Northern Open this year, and Mann won it 5-3. Now you see Bannock wants to get up there and horse. That body throw, if he can get it, but Mann is trying to maintain position. And he gets the two.
No points yet.
No, that's right.
No points yet. I thought he had it. Not yet. No points.
Oh, nothing. Oh. And there it is for Bannock. A big move.
Big move. He caught Mann's arms up in the air and was able to come down, pressure him to the mat for the two.
Oh, this is going to be a beauty.
Here's the move right now. You know, it's underneath the arms and drops down on a double, gets a trip with it, gets a two-point takedown. Super match already. We got 1 minute and 48 seconds left in the first period. Mann down to the bottom. He stands up. Bannock gets the lift, puts him back to the mat.
Stepped through, beautifully stepped through there by Bannock. And he has Mike in a pretty bad position here because there's no getting out of here with escapes for a while until he can free the leg.
This Bannock's got a lot of power on top. He's tough, he's physical. Mike's tough and physical likewise. It's just going to make for a super match before this is all over.
Here is Mann in on the leg. Still not two.
Oh boy, there it is. He's got it now. Woo! Look at it. Get back on the knee. Oh, what beautiful wrestling. Two good moves. Good counter move by Bannock. Good follow counter through by Mann. There's just been some super wrestling in that last 15, 20 seconds. A lot of power.
3-2, Mann over Bannock. 48 seconds to go.
Here's our move here. Notice how Mike moves around behind, blocks off with it, traps that arm around, comes around behind, takes that near leg, then comes around, turns it into a double, works up, he scores his two. He's got him in a wheelbarrow right now. Notice Bannock kind of somersaults back through into a counter move, but Mann was able to stay on top.
Mann is on top as they start to ride. Bannock turns in. It's still Mann's position with 30 seconds to go.
Man with a tight waist and the near arm, the arm crunch.
He's got that near ankle trap. Deep waist, controlling the near arm with an arm bar.
Heck of a match. There's Harold Nichols. Les Anderson on the right. Les has a little smile. I think wrestling coaches get that when there's a good match no matter who's in it.
Oh, this is two super athletes, both of them. There's your forward roll by Bannock, countered by Mann with a follow through. He's got the deep waist. Mann moves to the far side, sticks a half in, comes over, blocks it. Bannock stands up.
End of the period. It's 3-2. Let's go down and talk to Chuck Patton. He has Dwayne Goldman with him.
Dwayne Goldman, great match, real big win for you. Put the Hawks back in the lead.
Thank you very much. It really was a big win for me. I was really pleased with it.
Well, you know, he's been a national runner-up. That's great for you to get a win like that here early in the year.
Yeah, I know I kind of haven't been wrestling real well lately, but I was really excited to wrestle him because he's got a real intense style, and that's why I wanted to wrestle him. I just stay on him all the time.
Well, congratulations. Big win for you. Back to you, Doug.
Now back to 190 pounds. Thank you, Chuck Patton, with Dwayne Goldman, a happy young man. It's 4-2 as Mann gets out. Mann leads Bannock by 2. These two powerful 190-pounders on their feet.
There he spins around for the single gets the 2. No points yet.
Bannock has a whizzer.
Got the whizzer, staving him off.
We're close to the edge. We're very close to the edge. 2 points. It's 6-2 for Mann.
Folks, if you haven't seen wrestling and don't enjoy this one, you will never enjoy a match. This is a super match. Two super athletes. There it is. He takes that single. Now he gets the other leg. There's no points. Still scrimmaging for a takedown. Mann now picks it up. Notice a whizzer attempt by Bannock to stave that off. Here we'll see the lift by Mann, and he turns it into a wheelbarrow 2-point takedown.
No telling what's going to happen in this match. But I'll tell you, today at the weigh-in, I don't think I've ever seen Mike Mann so intense as he was today. I just had the look on his face of a very intense wrestler, and Ed Bannock always has that look. Now he has the head and arm control on the top. Here's Mann in with a lift. 2 more. 8-3.
He gets a bare hook, double leg on that one, and put him right to the mat. There's a lot of wrestling left yet, folks. It's an 8-3 score, man, on top. But let me tell you, you're looking at 2 of the best in the country.
20 seconds to go. You see the clock up at the top. This is Mike Mann on top, Eddie Bannock. It's Mann leading by 5, and he has riding time. But anybody who knows Eddie Bannock knows this one isn't over yet.
Oh, this is the super match.
We're still in the second period. Roll by Bannock, and he did not get out. Thunderous roar here in Hilton Coliseum. Everybody's on their feet. Let's see it again.
There's your duck under combination. Got in there real good position. Deep on it, then turn it into a double. Pressure into the mat, got the 2. Good positioning. That was the key on that move.
When you're ready.
And Mann starts on top. It's the last period here. 2 minutes more to go.
And it's going to be a tough 2 minutes. You can be assured that Bannock isn't going to, he's not going to throw in the towel. He's too tough a competitor. Referee tells Mann to move up from behind. He can't sit in behind.
Mann is undefeated this year in 19 tries. There is the escape to take the 4. Bannock got the first takedown in the first period. Mann has had 3 since.
Right now, Bannock's got that far arm trap. He's got a 2-on-1 combination.
Uh-oh. Who's going to come out of this? Mann has the leg. Bannock is on the side.
2-point takedown. Stayed with it.
A takedown for Bannock. And now with a minute left, it's only a 2-point match. And now Mann pulls him out.
anybody tripping on that shoestring. Tie your shoestring right there. I don't want anybody tripping on it.
Little rest for the kids.
I'll tell
Little rest for everybody in the place.
57 seconds, man. Let's go.
This is just a super match. You couldn't ask for a greater finale. We got another one to go, another great match, but this is a good one.
Another rest.
52 seconds left. Score's 9-6, man on top. A lot of wrestling left.
A lot to go here. Bannock gives the impression he wants to lock up and throw if he can. That's the quickest way to make it up if he can pull it off. But Mann has the leg, and it's Bannock who has to counter. Nothing? Nothing? What was called?
Nothing. I don't.
It was 11 to 6. Yes.
He gave it to him. I thought maybe I saw him wipe it off, but I wasn't certain. 2-point takedown, Mann.
Mann leads by 5 with 28 seconds to go. Crowd is strangely hushed here. There's a reversal. That's the first reversal we've had. 13 seconds to go. Bannock has to crank Mann over or lose. Escape, 12 to 8. 3, 2, 1. Mann is the winner.
At 126 pounds in 1983, we had Iowa's future Olympic silver medalist Barry Davis wrestling Iowa State's future 4-time All-American Kevin Darkus. We pick it up at the start of the second period.
Darkus has that overhook back with his right arm, but now Barry Davis got into a body hug, bear hug, and almost turned it into back points, but not quite.
Well, Darkus realized what danger he was in and released that whizzer and had to belly down.
If either one of these men would get caught underneath, such as this for a while, it could make a difference in how tired somebody got.
Oh, you bet. Let me tell you, in the bottom position like that, that's fatiguing. That takes a lot out of you.
And Barry's in with a cross-body ride now, which Chad Crow won't let him have anymore. He says that's long enough. We'll take it back to the center with 1:20 to go in period number 2. Riding time, 1:04.
Here comes the move right there. Notice the overhook, the whizzer, but Darkus wisely released and belly down and did not give back points to Davis. Here comes that whizzer maneuver again, but Davis stays in on it real tough with that deep waist. Darkus is warding, pushing off, trying to get free, face off.
A throw position.
No points yet. Once you see that hand slip by, you'll get the one. I think he got the one.
He did. Now it's out of bounds. Two very strong, physically strong 126-pounders. They get locked up in that upper body position. Oh, a beautiful leg picked up by Davis, and he's back in his single leg position trying to go for the other pin.
Scores 2-2. Yeah, actually, he caught that single leg off of a little bit of a trip. He caught that leg behind the heel of Darkus, and he couldn't drop it back. Consequently, he reached down, picked it up, and now he's in the position you currently see him in.
That was a very nice move by Barry Davis.
There's a case of staying with a move, fighting through it.
Very patient on that single leg takedown, and it's Davis again up by 2, 4-2 with just seconds left in the second period.
Davis has built up 1:42 seconds.
Oh! Time. Davis had Darkus on his back for a reversal. He's getting back points,
with it.
And he's got him in a tough spot right at the end of the period.
And 2 more. That was a series of 5 points, a 2-point reversal and 2 2-point near falls. So it's a 5-point maneuver, really. Here we see it right now. Notice the trip, the steps across. He's got him on his back for the reversal. He's got the near fall points, but he puts him back down for 2 more, so he leads 6-4.
It's 6-4, a big turn of events at the end of that period. That's the first time, I think, late in the match between these two, that Darkus has been able to get into that kind of a position. And
That was an extremely bad position for Barry Davis at the end of that match. He was lucky the time ran out.
Had there been more time, it would have been tough.
Chad Crow is the referee. Gets him started the last period. We have Darkus on top for the first time, leading by 2. I'd like to get a comment from Chuck here about this, the real tempo of this match. Such a hard driver.
Well, it's a real hard driving match, and I think that if Darkus can keep Davis tied up in the legs, that's to his advantage, because I think tempo favors Davis. Right now, Davis has, I think, got more steam, and Darkus kind of hanging on, but this is a favorable position for him because he doesn't have to work as hard.
We may get a stalemate maneuver here, Chuck. I don't know. They're staying there for quite some time. There it is. And he just erased the 1 minute riding time that Davis did have. He's down to 56 seconds now.
6-4. Darkus leads Davis by 2 in the third period. The number 3 ranked wrestler Darkus, who is in the position of advantage against Barry Davis, ranked number 1.
Davis stands up. We see him in a familiar position. Both boys end up in that position quite often from the maneuvers they make. Darkus is in there tough on that single leg, and as Chuck said earlier, that takes a lot out of both.
There it is. Escape. Referee says, no, we don't need anybody. We're ready to go. 6-5 in favor of Darkus.
53 seconds left in the third period. Lots of time.
Well, now Darkus has never been able to handle him on his feet, and this is where the match is going to be decided. Can Barry Davis get the takedown?
Davis is very intense on his feet. He works in close, tight. He's persistent. Darkus is blocking off underneath.
Davis has the arm block several times here.
There's the penalty.
Oh, it's a warning.
A warning. I guess he had nothing. It's a warning.
They've each been warned. Now, from now on, it's penalties. 6-5, Darkus by 1. We have 14 seconds.
This is it's going to be a tremendous finish. Both boys are wrestling real tough right now.
Oh, a warning, and that tied it up. A penalty.
It's a tie match.
Now here comes Harold Nichols to the bench. And I think we're going to have a little talk. I didn't see him count. That may have been the...
It's all tied up. There you see the clock. 3 seconds left.
And it's a draw. It's a draw. Iowa's NCAA champion and 4-time All-American Jim Heffernan met ISU's 2-time NCAA champion Tim Krieger in this great defensive battle of 1986. We joined the match in the middle of the second period.
See him, he's got that leg on now. He's starting to pull him around with the leg so he can get the arm, and then he starts pulling that arm through.
The Cyclones lead 9-5 after 4 weights. Kevin Dresser beat Joe Gibbons, and Greg Randall beat Jeff Gibbons. Otherwise, it's different from last time.
Well, he's got the arm now, and what he's trying to do is pull him down.
Bottom man, you're stalling.
There's a warning against Heffernan on the bottom. And of course, that could be significant.
Here's where he wants to be. Loading him, pulling him.
Back points.
That's what he's so good at.
He's really a tough man in that tilt position.
He knows where he is, even though he's underneath. He's got that arm tight. Now he's lost the arm, so he'll start to work his way up on top of him.
So Krieger takes a lead 3-2. Big roar from the crowd at Hilton Coliseum. We saw the number 1 man beaten at 142. The Cyclones are hoping it could happen here.
See, he's got the arm. Now watch him. He'll just pull himself over. He's got the arm, and then he'll start to pull the other man up on top of him. See how those hips are loaded, and then he'll lift up with the toe. You see his right toe there lifting him up, scoring the back points.
Heffernan takes his choice and takes down.
Well, I don't know if that is a very good decision.
Well, 3-2. He knows he has to score.
I know.
Maybe take up, you think?
He puts himself right back in the snake pit. You know, when you fish around in the beehive, you'd like to hunt for honey and not for bees. He's pulling him right back where he wants him again. There, he's tough right here. He'll crowd you to death and break your arms.
No back points. Here he comes again. Still no back points. It's only 3-2. Krieger, this could go either way.
Yeah, but he's got a couple of minutes riding time on him, and he's piling on him now. This is not one of Heffernan's great spots. He might have been better to take another spot.
But as we say, it's only a one-point match.
Well, heck, you know, you can take neutral and then try to take him down and win. Put him back here where he's so tough.
Now he pulls in the leg on the other side.
What he does is he posts him on that knee. He's got this leg tied up on one side, and he'll drag him to that knee, and then he'll for a point. Here he comes. This is where he's good. Got an arm tied up. Oh, now he's got his hips.
Oh, he's reversed. He lost it. It's 4-4.
He's got the leg tied up, too.
But it is riding time for Krieger.
He has enough that he'll have a point on riding time, but he's got to get off the bottom first. He's got to be able to get up. Now, Heffernan's got to turn him in order to win. Krieger needs to get his head up off the mat and get up out of there.
Heffernan really has to put on the mustard here to try to get Krieger on his back. It's a 4-4 score on the board, but Krieger has a riding time point 6. He may let him up and then...
I think he's going to try to put it to him.
You think he's going to try to turn him?
I think he's going to try to turn him here for a second.
All right, let's see what happens.
All right, he's got to put him down. Now he's here, he might let him go.
5-4 Krieger, but a takedown will tie it. A takedown would, for Heffernan, would be a draw. And there are only 14 seconds to go. Oh, boy. Nice move by Heffernan.
Oh, real nice move.
And a warning against Krieger for going out. So now Krieger has to go with just 4 seconds, 3 seconds. No! It's Krieger.
An outstanding match of 1987 was between Oklahoma State's John Smith, a future Olympic gold medalist, and Iowa's NCAA champion Brad Penrith. We pick up the action at the start of the third period.
In on that ankle again. There he is. He lifts, looking for control, looking for the back right there.
And he gets the 2.
Cuts him again. Smith is really active out there. Really has his number.
11-6. Now Penrith has a single. A whizzer, a strong whizzer by Smith against it.
Right, and watch the knee. They're looking for the John Smith's knee and saying, Penrith, don't be turning it the way it shouldn't be. And there John Smith used a whizzer and some hip action to get out. But at least Penrith is shooting back in on him and being game about it. It's going to be a great period here.
Well, you have to do it to him before he does it to you. That's all there is to it here.
You know John Smith is coming with that low single.
We have a minute and a half to go in the second period, and already 11-6. This is not over. Penrith has not been able to get a takedown. He's going to have
in on it again. He hasn't been able to stop it. Right here, Smith is in a little slightly different position than he has on any other single. He's going to look for that back along with the takedown.
He doesn't have his hips where he wants them. He's trying to pin Penrith from the top, from the bottom.
Well, what Penrith needs to do is move a little bit more, make a little more action so that Smith doesn't have such a standing target for his single legs.
He leads with the left foot, and Smith has hit it every time.
Every time. And he keeps that ankle. You see, he never loses it.
Watch those legs.
Nothing settled yet. There's a little suspense in every one of these single legs. Now Smith gets the takedown. He leads 13-6. He didn't get the escape that time, so now Smith has to hold on to keep from being reversed.
1,
Escape. 13-7.
Yes, man. You can talk to your coach if you wish.
Timeout. I think Smith hurt himself in that little scramble underneath. He winced as if he'd hurt his knee. And that would be no good news at all for the Oklahoma State team. He's wearing a guard on that knee. Back we go.
Well, you can never count Brad Penrith out. That's how he won the NCAAs last year. A very dangerous wrestler.
Now we're in the second period. We have just a few seconds left. Penrith gets the break on the knee. Single leg shot. Good hips by Smith. And he comes out of it.
You said it on those hips. He really pushes those hips in and takes control no matter whether he's in on a leg attack or countering.
Let's look at the records of these teams over the last 5 years. That's what happened. Iowa's won 3 out of 5, and they traded very big wins in 1984 and 1985. We brought you that one in 85 when Joe C. was in his first year.
That was the worst defeat Oklahoma State ever had. But the year before, they dealt Iowa its worst defeat ever
in this series. Now Penrith is on top, and you see Smith trying to switch. Beautiful move by Smith. I don't know exactly what he did. I hope we get a chance to see it again.
Right. He had a real key point there by his leg getting over Penrith's body there. He was able to anchor and take control.
And he leads 15-7. 15-7. Well, you figure you're going to get extra points against a national champion, but maybe he might.
Well, I said that's what they were figuring. That's what they were hoping for. That's how it tells you how much confidence they have in the man.
15-7. Smith leads Brad Penrith, who came back at semester into the Iowa lineup. He's a junior from Windsor, New York. He's on the bottom, now trailing by 8. Right time, 9 seconds for Smith. Has a right time advantage.
Well, and believe it or not, this is where Smith is best, on top. He's just taking dominance on his feet, but this is where he's best, the tenacious rider.
You're listening there to Tim Johnson. I'm Doug Brown. We're on Iowa Public Television's coverage in Carvalho Arena of the wrestling meet between #1 ranked Oklahoma State and Iowa.
There's a nice Granby action by Penrith to get out. Now back to his feet.
Penrith, now Smith has made 6 takedowns, and Penrith has none. There's the difference.
And the difference is Smith has been practically, he hasn't had any opposition to that low ankle shot.
He has to work every time because they get into some contortion positions, but
once you're in on the ankle and the cutoff occurs.
We have 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. It's a 7-point lead for Smith. He has riding time. Let's see what happens. Again, Penrith leads with that leg. He got it out of there. And comes in on his own. Tough counter by Smith.